So for series, I'll probably end up doing this a lot more so I can pump out longer content instead of just the short form content I've been doing, especially since it frees up the schedule to make more content and more longer form content. I think it will work a lot better. I'm going to start doing full season reviews, sometimes series, depending on season's content amount, but full series reviews of each of the different upcoming series. I just got through watching Ms. Marvel episode 1. This is a character I will be full up and honest. I don't like this character. Never have, never will. Okay, I shouldn't say never will, because series alright. But I'll get to that in a second. Ms. Marvel, I definitely know, is not a character built, made, or anything like that for me, but in order to understand a lot of plot points and where the character comes from, especially since I compare it to the Inhuman stuff, and I rather like the Inhumans, which is how I first started dipping into the Ms. Marvel character, on top of the fact that I like the original male Captain Marvel, which they really screwed up. Anyway, that's a story for a completely different day, and I think that day has passed. I don't want to get into that. Ugh. But the series isn't half bad. The writing isn't stellar. It reminds me of a teen Disney show, which is what it's going for. It's not that it's bad for what it's going for. It's quite good for what it is going for. It's just, it's not for me. So it is hard for me to watch, but I know I need to watch it if I really want to understand everything in the universe, and I do, and I love Marvel, so I sit through this. The editing is super fast paced in places, though, and it irritates the hell out of me, because it zoom, 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 and it doesn't let you, take a breath. It's like, oh god, my eyes can't rest. It's not, intolerable, and it's very similar to it's similar to the style of the type of show it's going to, represent, and the type of writing it's using. It's very reminiscent of all that. Sorry, I got a message and I need to cut it out. So as I was saying, it's like the fast editing and the Disney Channel show style is not what I come for in the very first episode. It's not at all what I come for, and so it just was not for me. The acting actually was pretty good. I was surprised. I thought I wouldn't like most of the actors because a lot of them are younger, and a lot of younger ones tend to, I don't know, there's just something. But lately, Disney's been doing really good. I haven't done Obi-Wan series review yet. That I don't know when that will drop. That is something I do plan on doing. I just haven't done it yet. The actress for Leia, they did fantastic on that. But they've been choosing a lot better actors and actresses, and their actor choices and their some of the writing stuff is really good. Anyways, onto the there was onto the actual details series. The first episode is just mostly character background stuff, learning about her culture, learning about the whole scenario of, instead of A-Day, instead of the game having A-Day, this one's an Avengers Con, celebrating the Avengers and what they did and all that, because it's been 5 years since the blip, and they restored everyone, all that, celebrating them being heroes. There's some stuff about Captain Marvel, which was like, alright, yeah, they're making fun of it. Alright, fair enough. They also had one of the characters dress up in a cross between the modern Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers suits, which was really cool. I like that. A lot of setup was fun. Some of the Avengers Con scenes were really nice. I still question her powers, but it looks like there's some sort of gaseous form, so I'm thinking it's something that, really crossing my fingers they do something with the Inhumans piece of it and they don't erase it from the books, because that was the one part I liked about the character. Although it would the most of the writing in the books was just not my cup of tea, which is why I avoided them. But I love the Inhumans lore stuff, and I really hope that is kept as part of it, especially with Black Bolt coming in. So far, there really isn't much, but there is a gaseous form, so crossing my fingers. Overall, it wasn't bad. It's just not my cup of tea. I'll be watching it, and then I'll finish it. I'll watch it. I don't know if it's a series I'm gonna go back to, like I do with Loki, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. WandaVision, I go, mostly because of the Ralph Boner situation kind of makes me mad still. I know, get over it. It's just, still, grinds my gears a little bit. Especially with how well the whole twist thing was handled in Doctor Strange. Anywho, Not bad, just not my cup of tea. If you like the character in the book, you'll probably like the series. Not bad. So, my new phone does not have the capture setting for the box and all of that. So, it's just going to be the backgrounds that I had whenever I was doing the boxes. Uh, this is Ms. Marvel episode 2. It probably won't seem like it's late, but it is. So I watched the day of. I had the recording, and due to circumstances which are seen in the update video, yeah, I'm just going off memory. I remember it didn't have as much of the high school subplot, which I really liked. But when I had it, it was very overwhelming, just like the last one. But this one has a lot more balance to it. The second episode has a lot more balance to it, and I enjoyed the second episode a lot more because it didn't focus on high school stuff as much, so it didn't have as much of the camera work that went with the high school drama stuff. It's really weird to describe, but yeah, don't like the camera work. Acting is still absolutely stellar, and the action scenes in this, when they actually get some action scenes, are great. But we don't get many action scenes in the second episode, except for the last few minutes. And there's also the heavy tie to No Way Home with the person who was interviewing Peter. It seems like it's a agency set up by Sword, not really Shield, but I mean, especially since he knows where Nick Fury is, it feels like he's probably a Skrull. I'm gonna say he's a Skrull. That's more theory territory, but not really related. Yeah, no, he's in the episode. He's interviewing Kamala. And we get the hint of them talking about the Eternals guy. So it's, the Bollywood Eternals guy. There's a reference to him, which is really nice. And they say the powers aren't coming from the crystal, which is showing it's probably the Inhuman stuff is probably still there. That's really cool. I was excited about that. And that it's getting better. I'm enjoying it more. And I think once they get to the more action orientated stuff and leave behind the high school stuff, it's gonna be a lot more for me. Which is why I'm still really excited to see all the actors in the Ms. Marvel sequel, because that one's going to focus a lot more on action than the high school stuff. Overall, not bad, and then once again, the acting is stellar, and I love all the actors in their roles. But yeah, no, it's still not quite for me. So, now I don't even have an app to do this, so this one's even stranger than the other one. Um, Going through episode 3 of Ms. Marvel. Honestly, so far it's been my favorite of the episodes, purely just because of the editing. The editing changed my opinion about a whole lot. It still had a little bit of the high school drama stuff going on, but it didn't bug me as much as it did whenever the editing was sporadic and all over the place and just zoom. I mean, I get that is a style, but I just don't like it, and it's hard for me to sit down and watch something like that. I know it's very personal, I don't like it, so, but that's just my opinion. So this one opens with something to do with the 10 rings, which is really odd. We don't know anything about it. We just see the 10 rings logo when they're looking for the bracelets because they're trying to return home and all this and all that. But I'll get to those points later. But we see the 10 rings, which is really odd. We also find out that Kamala is a Jinn slash a genie. And a Jinn slash a genie, it seems like they're trying to make it so she's not an Inhuman, but yeah, no, that would not. I don't like that. It says from another dimension, and the humans, in some forms, have been from other dimensions, but yeah, no, I don't know. I really hope they don't retcon the Inhuman stuff because the Inhumans have been getting a shorter stick than even Frogman, and Frogman is a joke. I love Frogman, but he is a joke, and he's getting a longer stick than the Inhumans. So far, the only one to get a fairly decent sized stick is Black Bolt, and that was just for one scene, and he kind of died pretty well bad. He is my favorite death, though. I mean, like, God, it annoys me what they're doing with them. They're such a waste because they have such potential, especially once they bring the Fantastic Four in. But that's a whole other thing. They mentioned Eric Selvig is like he's written a couple of books and stuff, so that was a good reference to the Thor movies. They have Damage Control, which also goes and into the mosque and all that. So Damage Control seems like they're gonna play a big part, and those seem like they're the guys from Spider-Man: No Way Home now. I didn't think that was Damage Control. They didn't quite look like them. They looked more like they were Sword agents. Maybe Damage Control is controlled by Sword because they know where Nick Fury is. I don't know. Also, the leader. I don't know if this is the same woman because we had the woman who is the one from the comic book, the Damage Control books in Homecoming. In this one, it's a different woman, but she has the same position as the other woman, and she is a lot skinnier. And she is a redhead, just like the other one. I'd have to look at the names, but I mean, that kind of just thought it'd be kind of funny if, oh, wow, she lost a little weight. Kind of funny. And then we find out Kamala's friend won won the position of being a board member, which is all right. Like I said, the story beats are finally starting to click with me, and I'm finally starting to enjoy it just because the editing has changed. I really did like this episode, and it had a lot more in it. Like I said, the editing is a lot better. We get a brief snippet of her costume. Good God, just put it on already. I'm getting sick of the tease. A small snippet of the superhero stuff. This one, we do get a larger action scene, which is, oh God, I actually started to enjoy this episode. And the action scene was amazing, like all of them that have been in so far. But they're always so small. It's still at the end, but it's a lot longer at the end, which is nice. We also get the love interest's mother is the villain because Kamala refuses to, try to make a portal which might consume power, which could have something bad go wrong. I mean, hell, even with Bruce Banner made a portal, stuff went wrong. So, just some 16-year-old kid making a portal. They're both like, eh. They also mention Carol Danvers is very reckless, which is nice to see people go, oh, she's brazen and bold, but is that really a good thing? That made me chuckle. We also get the scene of Kamala's dad eating fruit pie. I also like that scene. That was really funny. And then there's a thing where they say many names, which is where the Jinn could be still Inhumans, but that's just what they call them in that part of the world. They also, there's dimension travel is fairly normal now, just like the blip, which is a nice bit to see the world evolve. At the end of the thing, it's you. The whole thing is Kamala's about to visit her grandmother because they saw the same train, and it's really interesting. And then love interest mother is the villain. They had a dance number which has really good choreography. However, the dance number goes on for 4 minutes, or at least three. I as good as it was, I still went, good God, get to the superhero stuff. Dancing, nice, cool. It's a superhero show. Or at least can we have some sort of dynamic drama or something? I don't know. It droned, so I had to skip it. That's the only part of it I actually fast forward. And the bully is still not in this. She appeared in the first 2 episodes, and that is it. We haven't seen a hair of her in this third episode. It also seems to have a lot of whips in the fight scene, which is very, very bizarre. The love interest also says Bruno's name wrong a lot. Damage Control is the one who ends up saving the day, although they still want to capture Kamala, so that's not very good. And now all of Kamala's friends know that they're still calling her Nightlight. It really is a stupid name, but that's part of the joke. Overall, the third episode was a whole lot better. I actually enjoyed it. The other two, I'm like, oh God, let it end. This one, I'm going, alright, it's not my favorite, but it's okay. I'm starting to slowly like it more and more. And like I said, a lot of that has to do with this one having a style to the editing. Like, it has a lot more of the spray paint style still there, but it's not sporadic. It isn't whoosh, whoosh, pan shot, move. It's a lot better. Overall, not a bad episode, and I'm starting to say I'd recommend it. Not quite there yet, but getting close. So I just got through watching the fourth episode of Ms. Marvel, and you can even probably hear it in the background. Um, is the fourth episode? It had a lot more action, which I really like. My main gripe with a lot of the series is it's been really slow on the action, but the action has been my favorite part. Yeah, and my actions, the action is okay. Well, it's not always my favorite part in all the Marvel movies, but it's a huge part of when I think superhero. I think high octane action. We get a lot more about the whole land of the genies, and they come from another dimension, and the power she harnesses is like the crystals from that dimension. It's really odd. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but I mean, it doesn't help that I'm a huge Inhumans fan and also huge fan of her original origin. So I don't know. I'm still not sure how to feel about all that, but the action in this was phenomenal. The acting was pretty good. I mean, it's about as good as it's been so far. So far, this one's been, you know, it's been the most episode, but that tends to be the case with these Marvel shows. I'm starting to find out. Fourth episode is either the best or just like it's starting to slow down again. I don't know. It's weird to have that happen. Really slow, really good, really slow, and then either really good or really bad. It's weird the way these shows are going. But give it a year or two, and I'm sure they'll find their footing a little better with all the different shows. Because Ms. Marvel is one of the first wave of shows, where I would think to second wave started would be She-Hulk. But even then, that has a lot more CGI, so that one's a little harder to. I don't know. But the fourth episode was really good. I really enjoyed it. You got a new character called the Red Dagger. He was interesting, and he is part of the whole people who helped her find, the secrets. He thought she was part of the people who are hunting down the bracelets, who are the villains of the series. I don't know. So far, really interesting. Um, and this one kept my interest, and it didn't annoy me too much. It was all right. So I just got through watching the fifth episode of Ms. Marvel. It was really good. So far, this is the first series that's gone up, 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 up in quality. I'm actually interested now. If it wasn't for the first two episodes, I'd watch. If it was a full-on series with I mean, it is, but actually, it's a mini series. But still, if it was like 30, 40 episodes, I could. Okay, I know the first two. Skip those, but with how small it is, it's hard for me to justify rewatching it. But this episode was really good. I actually really enjoyed it. It shows the life of Kamala's great grandmother up until the point where she dies at the hands of the main villain, because of the temporal portal that opened in the last episode when her bracelet got hit. Turns out it was, her grandmother's doing through a poem and the bracelet's magic. Yeah, she's not an Inhuman. She's not an Inhuman. They're retconning that. It's starting to bug me less and less, but I really, really wish that they would have kept it the way it was. Unless they, do something in episode 6, but yeah, it doesn't look like they are. Although I was really thinking that's where it was going. Anyway, but they, you see her grandmother's life story. Then it closes out with all the main villains dying because they walk in the portal and turn into rocks. And that's the only way to stop the portal from absorbing the world because, they're the only beings who would absorb the portal's energy. The rest of just regular humans would just turn to dust or something. Or maybe it's the rock thing I explained a couple episodes ago. I don't know. I mean, it was a really good episode. Had really good pacing, but it felt extremely short because it was. This one only clocked in about 40 minutes, and that's pushing it to say 40 minutes. I don't know. Just felt really short, honestly. But like I said, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and seeing a little more backstory behind where the bracelet came from and Kamala's family, all that, that was nice. It really was. So I just cut through with episode 6 of Ms. Marvel, and it was honestly the best episode out of the series. I loved episode 5 and 6. I loved them. They were amazing. Even the editing in episode 6 I like. Even the editing in episode 5 was but the story was so nice and well paced. Sure, it fell short, but no, but episode 6 was incredible. You get a little bit of Home Alone esque thing because the essential plot of it is the damage control are going and chasing after Kamala and the bad guy's son because they both have powers. Even though the head damage control says don't do that, that's bad. Especially since they're in high school, it's gonna look bad. They're kids. It's gonna look bad. So yeah, it's just woof. Um, but the action was really well paced and it was fun. Like I said, it almost feels like Home Alone style traps, like foam and science gizmos and volleyballs. And in the end, we get a whole like the son can't control his powers and it goes everywhere. It was a good time. It was a really good one. And like I said, the pacing was top notch. Like it felt really nicely paced. We get bits with all the different characters showing, all their emotions. We finally get the costume. Last episode, we finally get the costume. Actually, it looks really good. Episode 6 was really good. To the point where if the rest of the series was good, I'd say, okay, I'll watch it. If they have a second season, I'll definitely be watching it because this one was great ending. I actually starting to care about the character to the point where I even almost care about the character in Marvel's Avengers. And the two can also be influencing each other, little both. As you can tell, I've been playing a lot of Marvel's Avengers because I just did a whole like Thor: Love and Thunder video about that. That came like by the time this is posted, that would have been 2 days ago. But yeah, no, episode 6 was really fun. However, this irked me. The post-credit scene really, really, really irked me. So as I've said in all the others, and I'm sorry for repeating it since this is a one-stitched video, but it gets good on the algorithm. It helps the algorithm to have some longer videos mixed with the shorter stuff. So, yeah, besides it's just easier to have one big post on my end. Anywho, in the comics, she is an Inhuman. The Inhumans don't have much representation in the MCU. I hate using that word representation, but by God, it's about the only one I can think of. We've only seen Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, and his head got blown the hell off. It was really cool to see him, especially in his classic suit. And it was really cool to see the actor back, because the actor choices in the TV show for Inhuman were really, really good. They just didn't have the budget, and they didn't have the writing. So I feel so terrible for those actors, because they got stuck in something that shit. I don't know, it's just... I feel bad for the Inhumans. They're like getting such a bad rap. The comics aren't very good. The Inhumans have always played more of a supporting role. There has been a couple of key stories with just them, about the whole family tree and all that. Those are really good, but outside of the one or two few examples, yeah, no. Which is why a TV show really doesn't work in more of a movie, but they try to make it a movie. I don't know. It was a whole ordeal back then, but they're still getting the dirt kicked out of them because Kamala Khan is a mutant. I love the X-Men. The X-Men are my favorite Marvel team, right next to Midnight Suns. And the original Midnight Suns, one with Man-Thing. I really want to see Man-Thing, but that's a whole different thing. But the X-Men are my favorite team. I'm really excited about X-Men 97. But Kamala Khan doesn't need to be a mutant. We have enough mutants. We have Scarlet Witch. We have her children. We have so many good characters you could have in the MCU. The mutant population in the comics for a while was a problem because they kept making everything a mutant. There are so many different other species of superhuman in the Marvel universe. Not the MCU. We haven't gotten very many yet, but still. There are so many types. And Inhumans don't get much. We have Kamala Khan and the one from Civil War 2, and that one wasn't very good. Although it seems like with the Thor Love and Thunder, we're going to get an adaptation of that character, just merge with another character. But that's, at least that's something. But she's not an Inhuman either. She's the child of eternity. So that's two Inhumans taken away from the Inhumans. The Inhuman race is meant to be small. Yes. But the few that are added are a really good essential storyline that was one of the few they had. The whole Terrigen Mist escaping on New York, and it created stories for other characters. Now, you didn't need to make it a Terrigen Mist escape. Like I've been saying, you could have made the Crystals a Terrigen Mist. Kamala Khan is not a mutant. Other than that, episode 6 was really good, but that pissed me off. She is not a mutant.